What's up, brother?
All right, so I'm actually looking right into the camera. If you're listening to the podcast, you should go to YouTube and watch because I'm looking at you right now if you're watching on YouTube. I have a very special guest with me today. Eric Roberts is here. This is the second in-person podcast. Last week it was with Mike Viconti. Today's with Eric. Eric is a very special person. He's so special that when I said Eric was coming to my home to record, my wife squealed. I swear to God, she squealed. She's like, Eric is my favorite friend. She loves Eric. Everyone loves Eric. He's not only incredibly hardworking, he's not only incredibly passionate about what he does, but he's one of the most kind, thoughtful individuals, and I don't say that lightly. And it's shown through my wife's absolute just adoration of him. Eric and we got on the phone, I believe it was May 2020. Is that when it was?
It was February.
February of
2020.
It was February of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to get your side of the story because I want to hear what you remember. But we got on the phone, and I'll say this: I've spoken with many people throughout my career to try and help them with their career, and I can count on one hand how many have actually executed on a high level. And Eric is one of the very few people who's not only executed on a high level, but has just completely surpassed me in every way, shape, and form. And I'm unbelievably proud of him. And I'm blessed to have you here and come on the podcast. And for anyone who doesn't know you, introduce you. Eric, welcome to the podcast, brother.
I am beyond stoked to be here. All the things he said are very nice, but not sure how true they are. But nonetheless, dude, first and foremost, I'll introduce myself and do the whole thing, but
Yes.
I want to give you your flowers. I tell you this all the time, but I'm a firm believer while everybody's here and listening and just starting off, Jordan said all these very nice things about me, which is great, but I have never met somebody in my life that is so willing to help, that is so willing to just share information, support me. I just never met somebody like you, bro. And we can talk about, I'll do my intro, but as I'm saying this, that phone call randomly off a whim, because I admired you so much, I reached out to you via Instagram and I was like, hey bro, I'm wanting to leave in-person training, COVID, whatever. And you're like, bro, let's hop on the phone. And I'm like, hop on the phone. I'm like, it's gonna charge me, whatever. We hop on the phone. You give me 45 minutes of your time on 9 p.m. on a Thursday night when you could have been doing a million other things, but yet you give me 45 minutes of your time and just help me. It literally changed the trajectory of not just my career, but my life. And I'll literally never be able to repay you for that. I can't express through words how much that meant to me, because I don't know where I would be right now if it wasn't for you, bro. So yeah, I just want to give you your flowers and say thank you from the bottom of my heart, because you are the number one person who, in my eyes, helped me get to where I am. And I know so many other people as well, but for me personally, it's just, I can't put into words, bro. So first and foremost, thank you. And I love you with all my heart.
I love you, man. It makes me incredibly happy. And again, for anyone who doesn't know Eric, go follow him. It's very cool for me to see, because you help millions of people across all of your social media platforms, across your one-on-one coaching, your own membership, the clubhouse. You help millions of people improve their lives and their health and their fitness, and it's just the greatest blessing to see you do that. So do me a favor now, introduce yourself for people who don't know you. Who are you? Who's Eric Roberts?
Yeah. So I was born and raised in Southern Maryland, from a county called Calvert County. Nobody knows where this is, but Calvert County, growing up, I was very incredible family. I was so blessed to have incredible parents. You often hear me talk about my mom and my dad and so on and so forth. And I love them. And I believe I had the best parents in the world. And so I was very blessed to have that. But growing up, there was a couple of things for me that I don't want to say we were poor, because we weren't, but I would say we were lower middle class. And from the age of 15, I got a job. I was working, 20, 30 hours a week, playing basketball, going to school, because I wanted to provide for myself. I wanted to, further myself and become independent. And so from the age of 15, I started working, and, around that time as well, I started getting into weightlifting. And I was like, it started off because I just wanted to be a jacked bodybuilder. I never got there, but that's how
you're jacked. And it doesn't. He wears these baggy clothes, which I respect. He's huge. Yeah. It's outrageous. Like, he's huge. You're massive. Anyway, keep going.
Thank you. That's how it started. But because I remember walking into the gym. If my dad listens to this, he'll laugh. I walked into the gym for the first time ever, and I had done like freshman football, like do the weight room, that sort of stuff. But when I walked into a gym, I left the gym that day, and I came home. My dad was like, "How was it?" And I was like, "I'm gonna do something with this probably for the rest of my life." This is the first time, and he was like, "Okay, champ, like slow your roll a little bit." And I'm like, "No, like just something about it," right? And so I kind of felt that, and ever since then, like, it really has just, my life has been completely obsessed with working out, fitness, nutrition. It started from, I wanted to better myself, and I wanted to look better for girls and all these things. But I remember, like, within 2 to 4 weeks, I found that other people, when I would go into the gym, I'd work out with my buddies, I'd work out with just people in the gym, I got so much more satisfaction of seeing them hit a PR or reach their goals or push themselves past their own self-limiting beliefs. And this is where I go back to my parents, because literally to this day, my mom is like, "Honey, like you're the best in the world. You can do whatever you want. You're gonna conquer the world." And I'm like, she's always done that for me.
That's amazing.
In my head, I'm like, oh, like, yeah, I can do whatever I want. Like, this is awesome. But I would like start to talk to people and see how they would act. And I'm like, why do you think you can't do this? And it's like, people have these self-limiting beliefs. And I was like, I want to break all of those. Like, I want you to feel the same thing I feel in my heart, in my soul, of like, no, we can actually do anything we want to. Like, there's no limits, right? So that's what it quickly became for me. Kind of speeding the process a bit. Worked out, loved it. I worked at the supplement store, GNC, because I wanted to, like, I just wanted to get into the fitness space, right? And so, kind of started doing that. And then when I was 20 years old, I had a buddy who was coaching people in Virginia. And, I wanted to move out of my home. I wanted to kind of get out, not because I didn't like my parents or anything like that, but like, I just wanted to kind of go off on my own and try some things. And so, I basically was like, told my parents, "Hey, I'm moving to Virginia and I'm going to start training people." And they're like, "Okay, like, we're supportive of that, but like, trainers don't make that much money. Like, you don't even know anybody out there. Like, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "I don't know, but I'll figure it out." And so
they weren't mad. They were
not mad. They were just like, "I trust you."
Type
yeah.
thing.
They're like, "I trust you, but like, we'll see what happens." And so, I moved out when I was 20 years old. I slept on my buddy's couch for a month, and I'll never forget that, because it was a house with like 5 dudes, and like 4 of them were taking steroids. I wasn't. And it was just like this thing where it was just like a bunch of trainers just living in a house, just like looking to get jacked, whatever. So I did that for a month, and then I started training people in person. Did that for about 3.5 years. And I remember like the first couple of days. I remember actually the first like interview that I had with the owner of the gym at the time. I did my first session, and he was like, "You're going to crush this." And I was like, cool. Cause like, I guess, whether the way I interact with people, who I am as a person, whatever. And so, I ran a pretty successful kind of like in person, you could say it's like Orange Theory or something like that, but it was more like, I don't really follow rules. And so I made it just like, let's get jacked and let's get strong. And so it was like, just kind of like a strength training class. We would routinely have, I'd say, 300 plus people enrolled in like the in-person thing and that was like, at the time for the company, that was like the best. And it was just like a continuous thing. And I loved it. Like, I loved being able to be with people. I loved helping people. I loved training people. And I know you've said this before, but like, that period of time taught me so much of like actually coaching people, which is just huge. And so I'm very thankful for that. But I was waking up at 3:30.
Yeah.
I was going to bed at 8 o'clock just to wake up at 3:30 to go train people again. And so like, was getting a little bit burnt out. And I actually messaged you about this one time, and I was like, "Hey man, like, I'm really thinking of leaving, but like, the kind of person that I am, I was like, I felt so bad if I were to leave my clients. Cause like, I love these people. Like, they meant I saw them entirely much more than my family. Right. And so it was like, I didn't know what to do. I wanted to leave. I've always wanted to, own my own business and do these things, but I didn't really know how that was going to happen. For me, God said, you don't have a choice, COVID. And so that happened. I had to leave in-person training. From there, that's when I started, I was dabbling in some social media stuff because I knew it was probably the way. I hadn't done it for a very long time because I was like, who am I? People are going to think I'm stupid. People are going to think like, who is this guy? Whatever. But I was like, all right, well, I don't have a choice now. Like I have to do this. I have no income, when COVID happened, like my income was, I had no income. I had no clients online. I had nothing. Right. And so March of 2020, that's when kind of went fully online. And then from there, it's just like, whatever's happened. It's kind of been crazy. But from there, we're here now. And I could go into that whole story, but yeah.
You said you got a job when you were 15. What was that job?
Making cheesesteaks at Philly Flash. Making cheesesteaks, baby. And it was funny because my brother and I, we were both working. The place that we worked was like an hour away.
Oh, wow.
So we did the math one day. We lost money going to work and gas because we had to pay for our own gas. Our parents weren't paying for our gas and stuff. We lost money going back and forth to work throughout the week. And so, but I'm super grateful for that because, that started me down the path of like, eventually there was a location that opened up near us. It was like 10, 15 minutes away. So like from there, I started to work and I started to save money. I started to like just get independent because, again, going back to, I didn't grow up with a lot of money. One of the things that was always a thing in my household was money. And so I was like, well, why don't I just make my own money? I won't have to ask my parents for anything. I won't have to do anything. I'll just do it all on my own. And so like I wanted to take that off of their shoulders.
Yeah.
So I got to worry about it. Like Eric's good. You don't got to worry about Eric.
Yeah.
And that's always been my thing. But yeah, I was making cheesesteaks, bro. They were damn good.
The first time you went into a gym, was it your school gym or was it which gym?
No, it was a world gym. I went with a guy named Mark Cox. Shout out Mark. His mom picked me up. We went to the gym and he was just kind of like,
his mom drove you to the gym?
100%.
That's sweet.
Yeah. So we went to the gym, dropped us off. I walked in and I just remember like people on the tricep extension. And I remember just like, jack dudes and cutoffs. And I'm just like the whole vibe, people running on the treadmill. And I'm like, this is cool, dude. I'm like, this is awesome. And like, I just had this feeling of like, yeah, I just loved it. And so, yeah.
Was it Mark's first day in the gym as well? He'd been going
He had been going.
So did he show you around, show you what to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, did you have any issues with like body image at all at that point in time or ever?
Kind of. I struggled with I still don't know how to say this to this day. Gynecomastia. Yeah. I struggled with that to a degree, especially when I was younger. And so there was a little bit of that, but I wouldn't say that was the reason I was working out.
Okay.
Like I'm sure you're a teenager, whatever. So like you have that, but yeah, I wouldn't say that was the reason I worked out, but it was definitely like, I want to build my chest so I don't have to worry about this.
Did you get teased about it?
No. Kind of, yes.
Okay.
Kind of, yes. I tried to hide it, honestly. Like, I tried to hide it for quite a bit, and so...
how'd you hide it?
Bro, I don't think I've ever said this out loud. I mean, wear certain type of shirts, wear certain type of colored shirts. No lie. It sounds funny when I say it out loud, but, like, I would tape down...
Would you?
Yeah, because I didn't want to, like, see it through my chest or through the shirt or whatever like that, for example. And so I was like, yeah, there was, a couple of things. And again, it was there... But I wouldn't say that was the reason I was working out, so to speak. Yeah.
So what was the reason?
I just wanted to get jacked. Like,
that was it.
Yeah. It was like I wanted to like be strong. I wanted to get jacked. And I also, because this was around the time I started to work, and one of my all-time favorite human beings ever is Kobe Bryant. And so like I resonate with the message, and we were kind of talking about this last night off camera, off air. But like I resonate so much with the message of like work hard, put in effort. And I had always wanted to do that with something, but I never knew what that was. And tying this in as well, the second part to that was like, again, growing up, a lot of my friends around me their parents they did very well. They had a lot of money. Like we would go to the mall and my friends would be like, I got my mom's credit card. I'm like, I drove here with my gas. I have my credit card. Like, what? And so working out for me was something that like you couldn't buy a body. If I was going to get in shape, it was like hard work, showing up at the gym, eating the right things. And it was like, it was a testament to the hard work that you put in. It was like, it's like meritocracy. Like it is what it is.
Yep.
Either you do the work or you don't.
Yep.
And so for me, that's to this day, that's what I love so much about it is like your results are going to show. And if you're doing the stuff, like it's about showing up every single day. So yeah.
I love that. Have you ever read The Iron by Henry Rollins?
I've heard of it, but I haven't.
You would love it. That like got me through college, a very difficult time in my life. But one of the lines is 200 pounds is always 200 pounds. It's just, you can't cheat. You can't lie. It's just like you can either lift it or you can't. And that's it. And it's, you've either done the work or you haven't.
Yeah.
When you started going to the gym, were you nervous? Was there fear, anxiety? Were you worried about what people were thinking when they were looking at you? Or were you just in there focused on yourself? Like what was your mindset in the gym early on?
Maybe I was just so naive, but literally I was like, people in here love me. Because I was like, we're all in the gym. We're all wanting to work out and like, we all want to get jacked. I'm like, this is a great place.
We're
and,
all
like,
in this together.
Yeah. So like maybe it was just me being so naive, but like, I never really was like, oh, this person's going to think bad of me or this. I literally was like, these people probably love me. And honestly, maybe it was because my mom just like, she's like, you're the best. Everyone loves you.
Everyone loves Eric.
Yeah. So I'm like, maybe it was that, but no, I didn't struggle with that a ton at first.
Okay. Good. And then so let's fast forward now, COVID happens. You now you're making content online. Tell me what happens then.
I'll tell you what happens then. Jordan and I had a conversation, and at this time, I think I told you this. So when we had our phone call, and again, for context, at this time you had like 400,000 or 500,000 followers, I think. And so I'm like, there's no way this dude is going to see this message, but I'm like, I'll try. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll try. And so, I shot you a message, we hopped on the phone, and like at that point, I think I told you this, I wanted to work hard so bad. I wanted to do, but I didn't know what to do. And like a side note, this is why like I think coaching is so great, because it's like I'm a firsthand, like I've seen it work for me and obviously tens of thousands of people now that we've worked with. But like I wanted to work so hard, but I didn't know what to do. And so I remember I got on the phone and you were like, okay, let me take a look at your Instagram. And I'm like, cool. And so like, you're going through and you're like, you're posting 3 times a week. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I'm doing really, and you're like, no, you got to post 3 times a day. And I was like, whoa, like that's kind of crazy. And so, yeah, at that point I was like, okay, well, what do I do? What kind of content do I put out? Like, I didn't really know what to do. And you were kind of like, obviously make it about them. Like, here's what you can do. Here's how you can do these things, so on and so forth. And so from there, it was just like, now I have the game plan, go put the reps in. Again, going back to the fitness, it's like, go do the work. Like, and I know you said like, you kind of tell a lot of people that, but I've never shied away from doing the work because of the way I grew up and things of that nature. And I was like, it's inputs and outputs. Like if I do the work, something good is going to happen. I didn't know all this was going to happen, but like, go do the work. And so that's kind of what I did. I started making content on social media. The day before my birthday, May 30th, you were doing a live in your mentorship and you told everybody, go get on TikTok.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I remember the day before my birthday and I was like, that night I got on TikTok because you tell me to do something, I will do it. Like that's just I trusted and respected you still to this day, obviously so much that I was like, whatever you tell me to do, I'm going to go do it. So I went and downloaded it and I loved it because I was like, oh, wow. Like, because again, on Instagram, it was a lot of people that like my high school friends or like people who knew me and that like I was making content and they were like, you're annoying me. Like, stop posting so much. Or like, who do you think you are? You have 300 followers or like, they would make, little slide
Would
jokes.
you get that? People would say that?
Yeah. It was the same thing like when I didn't go to college. So I didn't go to college. I started working right after high school, before high school. And then I just worked full time after high school because I hate school. Yeah. Hate school. People were like, oh, you're staying home like with your parents and you're working at a supplement store. And I'm like, yeah, like, I mean, yeah, but they like, oh, that's like, that's kind of sucks. And I'm like, not really. Like,
I enjoy it.
Yeah. It's like, it's kind of chill, but yeah, so I would get that on Instagram from time to time. And again, I just decided I didn't care. I was going to do it anyway, but I would get that. But on TikTok, clean slate. Yeah. And I was like, wow, I can just say whatever I want, whenever I want, however I want. And I'm just going to try to like help people on here. Like, I'm just going to make videos that I think are helpful, and like, we'll see what happens. And that was when TikTok was crazy.
Yeah.
Algorithm was crazy, right? I remember I had my first viral quote unquote video. It got like 100,000 views. And I like texted Jordan that night or the next morning, and I was like, dude, I got a viral video. Oh my God. I thought my life was going to change. It didn't, obviously, but like,
it did. Not from that one.
Correct. Yeah. But yeah, man. So like, started doing that. Obviously, like, your mentorship helped me a lot of like, how do you set up a coaching business? How do you set up systems? How do you do check-ins? But then also on top of that, what I love about you and Mike, shout out Big Mike, most jack guy ever met in my life. But you guys are also like, how do you be a good coach?
Yeah.
And that was something too that really, really I resonated with, because, to me, again, it wasn't just about, I came from the in-person big box training gym where they were like, get every dollar you can. And I'm like, I sure, but like, I want them to have a great experience.
Right.
Like, I want people to stay. I want people to get good results. And so I was like, I want to learn how to be a good coach, because again, I knew if I did that, everything else would fall in place.
Yeah.
And so, that really helped me get things set up. And as I started to, grow on TikTok, it was 50,000 followers, 100,000 followers, 200,000 followers. These videos are getting 50, 100, 150, 200,000 views, over and over and over. And like, people started to want to work with me. And I was like, I'm just a stranger on the internet. What do you want to work with me for? But I'm like, I will try to help you as best as I can. And that was my approach for just so long, was like, anybody who works with me, like, I will do everything I possibly can to try to help you. Right. And so that's how things started to go, man. Both on TikTok. Instagram took a little bit longer. I remember, it was 3 years plus before I went to like 10,000 followers on Instagram, because it was just like, to me, it was so much harder.
It is harder.
Then they brought out Reels though. So this is how like, I've mentioned God twice here, but like, God had a plan, because like, while I was doing all that work on TikTok, making videos, I got good at I got decent at making those kind of videos. And when Instagram dropped Reels to compete with TikTok, I was like, well, wait a minute, I've already been doing this. And I'm like, okay, I'll just post them here. And again, like, when that happened, I remember you texted me, you're like, did you gain 100,000 followers in a month? And I was like,
yep,
I think so. And you're like, that's crazy. But like, yeah, man. So, just from there, it just kind of continued to grow. But it was a process, like, it's been a little over 5 years now that I've started, making content and doing this stuff. So to me, it seems like it's happened like that, but it's been a process.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
It's a long time. You mentioned being a good coach, and that resonated with you. What is a good coach?
It's funny. I asked you this question one day. I might have asked you this on my podcast back in 2019. I think I did, actually, because I was like, I said, I care about people so much. And like, is that, and you were like, well, just because you care about people doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a good coach, because you can care about them too much and let them slack off or not hold them accountable or that sort of stuff. And so, for me, when I think about being a good coach, I think about being empathetic. I think about, actually investing time, energy, effort into not just the fitness aspect of things, but like, I saw this when I train people in person. People have a lot of shit going on, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny. You have this beautiful, beautiful family, beautiful wife, beautiful kids, and, all these things. And like, you guys were upstairs doing the bedtime routine thing last night. And, your incredible wife was like, I washed a dish or two, and she was like, this is amazing. Thank you so much. And I'm like, you guys have so much going on that like, the least I could do is try to help you. You know what I mean? But like, I know so many people have so many things going on. And so I think a lot of, especially back then, I like to think it's somewhat changed now, but back then I feel like a lot of the coaches were like, bodybuilding, prep, chicken and rice. You're going out to eat, bring your food scale, bring your Tupperware. And it's like, bro, you don't gotta do that. Yeah, like, make it realistic for you, make it sustainable for you, like, make it so that you can live a sustainable, balanced lifestyle, still see really good progress. And I'm still going to hold you accountable. And those things I talked about earlier of like putting in the work, putting in the effort, not shying away from putting in the reps, like those things matter. But also on top of that, I think for such a long time in the industry, there were so many people who were the complete opposite, and they were so far on the extreme. And I was like, let's take it back a little bit. And again, I credit you 120% for that, because it's like I learned kind of that philosophy through you. So it was a long-winded answer, but to me, that's kind of what it looks like for me to try to be a good coach to somebody.
You know, do you think the industry has gone too far the other way?
Yes.
Talk about it.
I think it's starting to go too far. I think it started about probably a year or two ago, where it's like, oh, every weekend you just have, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're off track. It's okay. It's no big deal. It's like, well, it kind of is a big deal if you want to see fat loss progress. Like, you can eat whatever you want, whenever you want. Like, not really. Like, you kind of got to have some protein. You have to have good nutrient dense whole foods. And so I think that's where that balance of like being empathetic and being understanding, but also like holding people accountable to be the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
And because for me, that's one thing you've always done for me, which is like, you need to post 3 times a day. You need to do this. They need to be good. You need to spend a lot of time and energy and effort. And it's like, I also take that same approach of like, I understand there's things going on, but I'm not going to let you off the hook.
Correct.
Like, I can't, because I think there's this saying, it's like, be kind, not nice. And it's like, when I think about people in my life, like I'll use my father as the example, like I love that guy so much because I know that he loves me, but he's not going to let me slack. Like, you have to show up. You have to do the work. Like, I'm not going to let you not be the best version of yourself. And so for me, I try to take that and who we coach and who we help now, which is like, if you really care about somebody, you're not going to let them slack. You're not going to let them not be the best version of themselves. So yeah, I think people have swung a bit too far. And I think it's easy because it's like, sign up with me and like, everything's going to be okay. And it's going to be this great. And it's just like, no, like the tough love, like that has to be there. It's love, but sometimes it's tough. And you know what's funny? I don't know, maybe you could speak to this as well. People love that.
They do. They
need it. They need it. Because us as humans, we're gonna let ourselves off the hook. Like, it's just how it is. Either that or you're too much of an asshole to yourself, which is a different conversation. But like, people love when they're like, okay, you're right. Let's do this. And it's like that right there.
That's why they're hiring us. They're hiring us for that level of accountability. I remember, I don't think I've told this story before.
Let's go.
I had an earlier in my career, it was probably 2013 or 2014, and earlier in my online career, when I was coaching people one-on-one online, especially when you're starting a business as a coach, you don't, number one, you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings when you're very empathetic, which I think we both are. But also there's the idea of, I don't want them to leave, right? When you are, my parents weren't paying for stuff. Like, I was paying for my own roof and for my own rent and food and all that. So you also, not only do you want to help them, but also like, I don't want them to leave. And it's very scary when someone decides to leave. And so sometimes I think coaches who are very empathetic and also trying to build their business, they'll be overly nice to try and get their clients not to leave, when that's actually not the best thing their client needs. What their client needs is a little bit more tough love. And I remember I had a client who left because I didn't give her enough tough love. She said, "You're being too nice to me. You're letting me get off the hook too easily. I need someone who's going to essentially not put up with my bullshit. When I tell you that I did X, Y, and Z, I need you to hold me accountable." And that was a proverbial slap in the face in a very good way that I think has helped me help many more people in the long run. And to your point about tough love, what I found works very well when I'm about to give a client tough love, I don't just go right in and say, "You're fucking up." I'm not going to make them feel bad. What I say is, I care about you deeply. And that's why what I'm about to say, it will be some tough love. I'm going to give you tough love right now because I care about you. And when you preface with that, it almost allows them to brace for it and understand it's coming from a good place.
Yeah, it's funny. I couldn't agree more. And I learned that from you. And I think also, a quick story, I had a client one time, I gave her some, she needed it. Like, I was like, you know, again, like, I love you, I care about you, but like this, and this. She'd email me back in like a day max. She'd email me for like 5 days.
Oh, wow.
And I was like,
that's scary.
Yeah. She came back and she was like, "I was fucking furious with you." but she was like, that's exactly what I needed. I love you and I'm ready to rock. And I was like, cool. Like, I'm good with you hating me for 30 seconds, an hour, 5 hours, whatever, to then go on the backside of that and say, that dude cares about me. He wants me to win. Like, and I often, I played sports, and, a lot of people might be able to relate to this too. Like, think about whether it's the coaches you worked with or the teachers you had or whoever. It's like, those people that were sometimes assholes to you, you remember them now because they helped you progress.
Correct.
The people that were like, they didn't care about you. They were just like, do whatever you want. It's like, you don't remember those people because they don't actually change you.
Correct.
And so I think for us as coaches, it's our job to like help people change, right? And help people, like I've said before, overcome their self-limiting beliefs, their BS, not let them off the hook. Like, there's a saying too, it's like, you're the sum of what your peer group holds you accountable to. And so it's like, as a coach, you hold these people to a higher standard because, again, they got kids, they got work, they got this, they got that. It's like they need someone there in their corner to help them, which is, we were talking about this yesterday, but like why I don't think AI is going to take over the fitness space, at least not right now. It's like, you need humans, bro.
Yes.
Like, you need a real human being with you. So yeah, I agree.
You need a human, and you need a human that you can relate to, a human that, that's what I think happens right now. I think right now in the fitness industry, people are not hiring coaches based on their knowledge. They're hiring them based on how much they relate to that individual, how much they think that individual understands them. And right now, AI doesn't show empathy. It doesn't show understanding. I have a feeling what'll happen is, because they've already started, they have these like AI characters, and they have AI. They're not people, but they look like people and they talk like people. And like, I have a feeling what will happen is individuals and or companies will make these characters that essentially are the face of the fitness company, that people might not even know that they're AI, and to create empathy around that. But for right now, people are hiring because if someone wants knowledge, they can go to ChatGPT, they can go to Google, they can go to whatever, they can go to Grok, like they can use these AI tools. And to be quite frank with you, some of them will spit out very high quality programs, and whether it's a meal plan, a strength training plan, whatever, but they can't hold you accountable. They can't have that tough love that you need. They can't. There's the human element that they don't have yet. And so I completely agree with you. What I'll say about your client, though, the response of how she came back and she was like, I was furious, but that's what I needed. That's a good client. That's how you know they're going to win. When the client comes back and is offended, and the client comes back and is like, you don't understand, when they turn it into a victim mentality as opposed to I know you're doing this because you care about me and this is actually what I needed, that's the client who's going to win long term. So props to your client too.
Dude, it's funny you say that. I hate the victim mentality.
It's the worst.
It's funny because sometimes we'll do like live events in my clubhouse, and we did one about the victim mentality.
Oh, did you?
And I went bonkers on that thing. Like, anybody who knows me, sometimes I get very, very riled up, and like the response, people were like, this is the best thing I've ever watched.
Yeah.
Like, I needed this so bad.
Yep.
And people know they need it. It's just like, it's easier, depending on your upbringing, depending on your situation, like it's easier to fall into that victim mentality sometimes, but like, stand up and let's fucking go. Like, I always think of it like, are you just gonna let life punch you in the face and just sit there and take it? Like, I'll never forget this, dude. And again, shout out to Mike. But talking about clients canceling, I remember it was like 2021, and there was a span of like 2 days where like 12 clients canceled, and my business was still fine. I was still fine. I had
Scary,
money
though.
saved up, but I was like, bro, what the fuck? I was like, this is not good. And so I literally sat there and I was like, am I just going to sit here and take it? Like, or am I going to do something about it? And that's when I came up with that 28-week challenge where like I was like, I'm going ham. Like, I'm doing this for my clients. I'm doing this, posting on YouTube every single day, 5 podcasts a week. Like, I'm broke this thing down because it's like, you can't just sit there and take it, bro.
Correct.
Like, fucking fight back.
Correct.
Like, I'm getting amped up even talking about it because it's like,
I love it.
You gotta fight back, man. You can't just sit there and say, this is happening to me, woe is me, I can't. Like, there is stuff you can do about it.
Always.
So go do something about it.
I remember after Trump won in 2016, I was doing one-on-one business coaching before Mike and I started the mentorship. And there was a guy who I was coaching, for his business. And after Trump won, he was like your client. He would communicate with me almost daily. And all of a sudden, I didn't hear from him for a few days, a week, 2 weeks. He's not posting on social media. He's just gone. And after 2 weeks, I finally am able to, like, I've been messaging him, dude, where are you? Are you okay? I'm worried for his safety. Finally, we get on the phone, and he's like, I've just been so upset that I haven't been able to do any work. I haven't been able to make any content. I haven't been able to communicate with my clients. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? That there's so many issues with that. But if you can't control that, number one. Number two is you've allowed yourself to actually stop helping people, stop putting good into this world, stop helping your clients. You're not communicating with them because you've been so upset about the president, whoever was elected president. Never mind going down the route of like, do you vote for your local elections? Do you vote for the people who are making a difference near you? Like, people put a lot of emphasis on the presidential election, which it makes sense. It's an important election. But also, there are so many other things that you have control of that if you're letting that prevent you from doing the things that you say you care about and that you're passionate about, come on.
You're going to lose.
Yeah, 100%.
You're going to be, let me rephrase this, how I really feel. You're going to be a fucking loser.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be a fucking loser. I don't care. I'm a winner. I'm going to win. It might take me my entire life, but like, I'm not going to lose. And you know, it's funny, like before we started maybe we did catch it on camera. I'm not sure, but like I filmed this hour-long YouTube video.
That wasn't on camera.
There was no audio.
Yeah.
There was no audio. And so I sat there and I was like, I was going to redo it.
Yep.
Like, I could sit there and bitch about it. I could sit there and feel sorry. I could sit there and do all these things, but it's like, go.
Yep.
Just go. Just go take action, because wallowing in it, you know, not like, what can you control? And it goes back to the same thing with like coaching people. It's like, a lot of times people, you know, they fall into that all or nothing mentality. Well, I can't do this, and I can't meal prep perfectly, or I can't get an hour workout. It's like, go do 15 minutes. Go outside and get a 10-minute walk. Don't get arrested by the cops, but go and get a 10-minute walk. But like, control what you can control. And it's so funny because, I don't know if you hear this a lot, but I hear people, they're like, I love routine. I love being in control. I love structure. I love all these things. And I'm like, well, why are you doing it? Like, controlling what you can control will give you that feeling. So get that feeling much more.
You know, the victim mentality it's very interesting. It's unique, and it's dangerous is what it is, because what it allows people to do is, I think generally speaking, people want people to empathize with them, and they want to justify why they haven't achieved certain things and why they're not doing certain things. And so the victim mentality gives them that opportunity. It gives them the justification to say, well, this is why, this is why, this is why. And it allows you to continue to justify and make excuses for not actually taking control over what you have control over. And I think fitness is the prime example of that, where it's like, listen, you can have so many difficulties in your life, but all it takes is just one step in the right direction, taking control of one thing. But if you continue to hold on to the victim mindset, you're never going to go anywhere.
And you make it your identity.
Yes, that's exactly right.
You make it your identity. So it's so hard. Like, if you're the person who does that, you're not even giving yourself a fighting chance.
Yep.
You're not. And I think that's the hard part about, you know, the victim mentality is like, what kind of person do you want to be?
Yep.
Who do you want to be?
Yep.
What do you want to live up to? Like, I think about that. I've thought about that. Shout out to Gary Vee, you know, somebody else who I love and I learn so much from. But it's like, every day I think about my actions, and it's like, did I take steps closer to my goals and where I wanted to be?
Yep.
Or did I not? And it's a very simple black and white yes or no. And that's also a thing I think people need to maybe try to prioritize more, is like, make things very black and white.
Yes.
Like, it's very difficult, but try to take out the emotion. It's like, did you do this or did you not?
Period.
Is it this or is it that?
Yep.
Very simple.
Yep.
And if you didn't, you're not an asshole. You don't suck. Just do it better next time. That's all. You know what I mean? And so I think you can't let it become your identity, because then you just get even succumbed into it like that much more.
Yeah. And also, you actually might be a victim. Like, you legitimately might be a victim. There's a woman who I remember when I was a kid. Do you remember the name Elizabeth Smart?
It's ringing a bell.
Elizabeth Smart, when we were kids, you're a couple years younger,
yeah.
but when we were kids, she was abducted from her home, went through God knows what sexual abuse, psychological abuse for I don't know the exact time frame. I don't know the exact horrors she went through. Eventually, she was rescued. Thank God. And now she has a big platform where she educates people, and she educates women, and she educates people to on not only what she went through, but how they can overcome these difficulties. It's like, I think she's such a great example of someone who is a legitimate victim who, rather than making it her identity and wallowing in it, she's been able to come out of it and be an inspiration to millions and millions of people. And I think each of us can do something like that on our own. And even if you are a victim, you can do something to improve yourself rather than just being like, you know what, I'm a victim, I'm not going to do anything at all.
Right. And I think too, when we talk about like that victim mentality, to your point, like people go through
Horrors.
it's unspeakable things, right? But it's funny, like we sometimes have a rule with like our clients where it's like, you can, like, I'm gonna say, like, you can quote unquote bitch about it, or you can complain, or you can say this sucks. You can do whatever you need to do, get it out. But at the end of that venting, what are we going to do about it?
Yes.
Like, that's a rule. We have that rule.
I love
and it's
that.
like, we understand that bad things happen, but we have to also piggyback off of that, do something about it, and take a step forward.
Yeah.
And I think, not to downplay anybody or anything that's going on, obviously, but like, you can overcome it.
Yes.
I promise you,
Yes.
you can overcome it.
100%. We're going to take a sharp turn now. What
go.
in your life thus far? I asked Mike the same question. Mike really liked this question, so I'm gonna give it to you. What has been your favorite period of time in your own training, like for your own workouts? What time period has been like the most fun that you've had, the best moments for you that you've enjoyed the most? And it could be seeing the most progress, or it could not be. But what's your favorite time period with your own training?
Without question, I know the answer. When I it was probably about 6 to 12 months after I started lifting.
Okay.
Like, so I started lifting when I couldn't drive. So like after school, I would get my brother to take me, or I'd bum a ride off somebody at school, and they would take me with them to the gym. And then my mom would if we got out of school at 3:30, I'm like, all right, mom, like I'm at the gym. She's like, I'm not going to be there till 7. I'm like, I don't care. Like I'm in the gym. I'm having a great time. And it was just like, I'd bum rides off people. I'd go in there. I'd lift. I'd think I'm a bodybuilder. I'm like soaking. I was skinny growing up, right? So like not a bodybuilder. And so, but like, just having the most fun ever, man. Like bench press, like trying to get a 315 bench press. And I was one of those guys, this was awful, a quick story. I was one of those guys where every time I benched, ass off the bench every single time, just like, ah! And so eventually I had to take a belt and strap myself into the bench.
No way.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I had to retrain myself.
Did someone say you can't let your butt come off the bench? And then you were like, all right, how do I fix this?
I knew it was bad, but then somebody in the gym was like, hey, dude, I love you, but like, you can't keep doing that. I'm like, all right, let's change it. And so I was like, he was wearing a belt, and I was like, can I use your belt for a second?
Stop.
Yeah.
A lifting belt?
Yes. Yes.
So you strapped the lifting belt around your waist in the bench to lock yourself down.
Yes.
That's funny.
Yeah. So, but like just stuff like that, man, like working towards that and just like not having a care in the world other than like, let's go to the gym and try to get as jacked as possible.
I love that. So that was like 15, 16?
That was probably, that was like 16, 17 probably. Cause like I would say late 15 into mid 16 because I started to be able to drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like around those couple of years, so much fun, dude.
That was a great time. For me as well, I remember around that exact same age, I got a summer job as a janitor at our middle school. And so I was in high school, but my friend, his name is David Lauer, who I haven't spoken to him in 20 years at this point. But he told me he was making like $20 an hour as a janitor in the school system.
And what year was that?
This was 2005.
That's some good money.
Really good money.
Yeah.
I was like, are you serious? $20 an hour?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, you work and so at the school system, you go in all the classrooms and you help the professional janitors, but like they only gave the job to a few kids. Mm-hmm. And so essentially remove all of the stuff from every classroom in the school. The janitors would go in and they'd wax the floors and cleans the floors. So you're in there the whole summer. But I didn't have a car and I couldn't drive yet. I would rollerblade to Curtis Middle School and I would spend all day there. And the janitors were awesome. They were amazing. I wrote my college essay on being a janitor.
I love that.
And so worked there all day, would rollerblade to my high school after the school day, and then work out for like 2 or 3 hours, and then rollerblade back home. It was amazing.
That sounds like the best day.
It was so fun.
Yeah.
So fun.
Yeah.
No responsibilities. No, it's just, and the janitors would give us beers during the day. And so like we drink beers, and then one of them would take us to a Brazilian steakhouse. It was just, it was so good.
That's awesome.
And you could really, man, there's something about that age. I could work out for 3 hours. And I could still keep going.
Unfazed.
It was so fun. Mm-hmm. Such a fun time. Not optimal, but it was fun.
Not optimal at all, but it was by far the most fun.
What does your training look like now? Because your businesses, you're busy. You've got a lot going on, and like you were up at like what 5 this morning and like 6 you were up early. You were working. You do this every day. What's your training like now that you're like not just a high school kid with not as much responsibility?
Yeah, I think for me, the old adage of like you got to be selfish to be selfless. Like for me, I gotta get my lifts. I gotta work out. Like it's a non-negotiable. So yeah, busy, but I don't have kids. I don't have what I mean. So like I'm sure there's people way more busier than I am. But I get it in, but it looks a little bit different. Like, if I get a 30-minute workout or a 40-minute workout instead of an hour and a half workout these days, it's like, all right, cool, that's it. It's like if I don't go in and like hit I'm not working towards a 365 bench press PR anymore. It's like I want to go hit some chest, like I'll go do upper body, I'll get my lifts in, and like I'll head back home and get my work done. And so it's still there. I'm still like I'm still getting it done, but by and large, the top priority is business, like without question. Our clients, our clubhouse members, my employees, like I love my coaches. I want to do as much as I possibly can for them. They mean the world to me. And so it's like that takes up mostly all of my mental energy. And it's like the workouts are there and it's a habit. It's a routine. It's a lifestyle, but it's not like, and this, like when you're really trying to progress with something, you have to put not even just like the time of like spending time on it, but mentally, right? And so I don't feel the need right now. This could change, but I don't feel the need right now to like build another half inch on my biceps. It's like, that'd be cool, but like I'd rather build a better company and I'd rather help my coaches live a better life and I'd rather, build a better clubhouse program. It's like those are the things that I'm really focused on. So it's there, working out probably, I'd say 4 times a week for 30 to 60 minutes at a time, doing the thing and getting out and going back home.
Is it mostly lifting?
Mostly lifting.
Any cardio?
You'll like this.
Let's go. Let's hear it.
Probably not, but
Probably not.
I have started doing some cardio.
Oh, let's go.
Some cardio.
Good.
So usually I'll do like a 20 to 30 minute like incline zone 2 walk after workouts because heart health, blood pressure.
Love that. Do you check your blood pressure?
I still don't.
Oh man.
Last time I checked my blood pressure was when we were in Dallas.
Stop.
2023. I know.
What was it? Do you remember what it was?
We were good. It was good.
You were good. Okay.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was good. But yeah, no. So
your arms are too big for the strap. That's the issue. We need to get like a separate, like a custom strap because your arms are massive.
That's what I'll get from my house. I'll get one of those and I'll make it custom. Okay. But yeah, so I do a little bit of cardio afterwards. I also try to get outside and get steps and those kind of things. But yeah, just those 3 things.
What are your daily steps at?
In my cut?
No, average, like not in a cut.
Not in a cut.
And actually, we'll talk about that. What they are average and then in your cut.
Yeah. I mean, so I just got out of a cut like 4 days ago. I think the past 4 days I've been like 5,000.
Okay.
So I got to get that up.
Okay.
So I will.
Is that like a normal day for you?
Bro, I could get 2,000 in like, no, I'm serious. Like It's terrible. It's not good.
Because you're grinding, you're working.
I'm just at the computer. I'm just at the computer on the thing. So, I would say 5,000 to 6,000 is average. I'm trying to work up to 8 to 10 at least.
Okay, that's good.
I'm trying to get that in. On a cut, it's, 8 to 10 minimum.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's interesting how you change priorities, right?
Immediately.
Like when I got home on Saturday, Sunday, I was like, I have 3,000 steps and it's 7:30 p.m. And I'm like, if I was in a cut,
you would do it.
It would be done. I already have my steps for the day. And so it's just like truly priorities.
The interesting thing about when you do a cut or when I've done a cut publicly, even though you're doing a cut, it's still different than when our clients do a cut because our cuts are also business opportunities. Mm-hmm. When we show people that we're doing a cut, yeah, we're doing it because like maybe we got a little bit chubbier than we wanted to, but also because it's like I'm going to show them how to do this so that they actually believe me. So when you're in a cut, even though like your priorities shift, it's still business, right?
I know. Well, and it's business and it's accountability.
Yes,
I got people watching me.
Yep.
I gotta hit my steps.
Tens of thousands, 100,000 people watching your cut.
Right. And even going back to like, who do I want to be?
Yep.
Do I want to be a person who like says I'm going to hit 8,000 steps a day and I don't hit it? I'm not going to do that, man. Like, so if I say I'm going to do something, you got to find a way to do it. You got to follow through. You got to figure it out. So those external, internal factors are like, that's what really drives.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is one of the reasons why I like encouraging people to post their own progress on whether it's in my inner circle or your clubhouse or on their own social media, because one thing that I've always found interesting, we can look at The Biggest Loser, for example, which, quite frankly, I hate. I think you look at the people who lost a lot of weight on it, the vast majority of them, if not all of them, gain it all back. But something unique about that show that it showed us, when you've got eyes on you, you're going to be doing things differently. And so, I mean, the entire country, if not the world, it's an international show, is watching you. And granted, like they're in a controlled environment, they don't have access to certain foods. But as soon as the eyes come off of you, it feels like a weight off your shoulders, but also you lose the accountability. And so there has to be a balance there. But for someone to deliberately take control of their own fitness, post their progress. Hey, this is what I'm going to do. Every day, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. I'm going to hit my calories, hit my protein, hit my fiber. I'm going to get my steps in. And they post it on their social media, or they post it in the inner circle or in the clubhouse. And all of a sudden, even if people aren't necessarily communicating with you about it, they're watching. Even if it's only 3 or 5 people, like they're watching. Mm-hmm. And some of them will communicate with you. Mm-hmm. But I think often that's enough for people to be like, I've got to stay accountable because people are watching. I've found that to be very helpful for my clients. What about you?
I have 2 things. Number one, yes, because, and this is where I think sometimes people, I don't want to say they shit on coaching, but I think people feel like, oh, I shouldn't need a coach forever. I shouldn't need accountability forever. But I'm like, accountability is everything.
Yes.
I'm like, it is literally like the glue that keeps everything together. It's not a negative thing for you to need or want or thrive off of accountability. So like, stop feeling bad about like, oh my God, I can only stay on track when I'm being held accountable. It's like, that's most people. So like, so stop feeling bad. And then number 2, you know what I love the most? I agree with what you said 100%. But you know what I love the most? When people have shit weeks and they still post.
Yes, it's the best.
The best, bro. Because how easy is it to say, I only hit my calories 3 out of 7 days.
I'm not going to share it.
Yeah. I only got 2 out of 3 workouts. I didn't hit my steps this week. I'm just not going to share it. But then you don't share it that week. And then that spirals into next week. You're not perfect again, or you don't think you did what you're supposed to do again. So it spirals. And you just kind of like wean yourself out of the coaching or the group or even your own posting, whatever. It's like post no matter what.
Yes.
Good week, bad week, best week, worst week, indifferent week, saw progress, didn't see progress. Post it, dude. Yep. Like, I promise you will get to where you want to be eventually.
It's so easy as well. If you don't post one week, it just bleeds into the next and the next. It's very similar to when people, they eat off track, they go over their calories. Like, well, I'm just not going to track my calories then. It's like you track them every day. If you're making a decision to track them, you track everything you eat. Because if you decide, well, I had the cheesecake like we had last night, I'm just not going to track it. The fuck is the point? Why even bother tracking it if you're not going to track everything? You're not being honest with yourself.
Yeah.
You're only shooting yourself in the foot.
And you're only like, you're trying to pass a test.
Yes.
We're not trying to pass a test,
Yes.
you guys. Like, we're just trying to move forward and help ourselves, hold ourselves accountable.
Correct.
You're not getting graded on this.
Correct.
Like, it's something we tell our members all the time. Like, you're not taking the fucking SAT, bro. Like,
Yeah.
just show up. It's going to be okay. And, something, you kind of taught me as well, which is like, I'm not going to think any less of you.
Yeah.
The people who are watching, they're not going to think any less of you. They're going to relate to you, and they're going to want to support you and encourage you, and they're going to hold you accountable, like we talked about earlier. They're not going to let you off the hook if they're actually your friend. They're not going to let you off the hook. So
Yes.
yeah, post no matter what, man.
How do you define success in the context of your clients' own fitness journeys? Like, what's success for your clients?
I think obviously person dependent, but what I think we really try to focus on with people is, so I'll use this as the example. Sometimes people will ask me, well, what is my goal weight? What should my goal weight be? And I often go back and I'm like, I don't know. Where do you feel comfortable? Where are you healthy? Mm-hmm. How easy is it for you to sustain that?
Yep.
I'll talk about myself here for a quick second. The cut I just did. I was talking about this last night. I got down to like 225, 223 was my lowest, which for me is very low.
Because you're huge.
Not huge, but I was very lean and I felt awful, terrible. Not easy for me to keep that up. Like, had to eat very low calories for me. Had to eat very low calories. Had to do the 10 to 12,000 steps a day. Had to do all these things I could do it, but it's not easy for me to maintain that. Whereas right now, I'm about 10 pounds heavier. I can have some cheesecake at Jordan's house and I can really live my life, and I can go out to eat if I want to, and I can eat a little bit extra food. I can have better workouts. And so it's like, I think success for me would be getting to your goal, which again, I think people have these goal weights in mind where they're like, I got to get to 150. My life is going to be great.
I got to weigh what I weighed when I was 12.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah. Well, and it's crazy because it's much like money.
Yes.
They think when I get that, everything's going to be good.
Yep. Good luck.
It's not.
Yeah.
I can just tell you it's not. And so, yeah, I think for me, trying to define, and sometimes that can be on a sliding scale. Sometimes you might want to get a little bit leaner and maybe you want to feel a bit better and be more dialed in. And sometimes there might be periods of your life where you have a newborn or you're just starting a new job at work. You got a promotion, you're moving. It's like, that can be a sliding scale. And what I tell people is like, just because it's different doesn't mean it's bad.
Yep.
Every time people you're not supposed to be doing the same thing with your fitness every month for the rest of your life. Your life changes, shockingly, right? And so it's like, yeah, that's again a long-winded answer, but like finding out how to reach your goals in a sustainable way and something you can actually maintain. Because I was just talking to somebody yesterday before I got interrupted, and he was really wanting to like find he had done carnivore, keto, fasting, all the things. And he was like, bro, I can't stick with any of these things. Yeah. And I'm like, I know, man, like, trust me. And so finding how to do it in a sustainable way.
I like that. You've mentioned you don't want to get arrested. You mentioned before you were interrupted. You've got to tell a story now.
All right.
People are like, what is this guy talking about?
I will tell the quick story. So I get to Jordan's house yesterday. I landed at Dallas Fort Worth around 2:30. I drove over to Jordan's house, and him and his lovely wife were on a meeting. I don't want to interrupt. I had to get some steps in anyway. It's beautiful yesterday was a beautiful day in Dallas.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, 75 and sunny. So I wanted to go get some steps. So I'm walking around Jordan's Jordan's wonderful neighborhood and just seeing some of the great houses and all these things. And was also taking was chatting with somebody. I had a call about 4:00 to chat with somebody who might wanted to sign up for coaching, and so was on the phone, and he was kind of like, it's I can hear you, but it's kind of like, is it windy there? Because I was outside, and I'm like, crap. I'm like, yeah, like I'll try to fix it. And so that there's this cul-de-sac, and so I'll go down to the cul-de-sac. I'm like, sweet, less windy here. Like, can talk on the phone. So like I'm walking back and forth, and I'm dressed in all black. I don't know why I did this, but like I'm dressed in all. I got a backpack on. I got headphones on. I'm just like pointing out, talking like
black pants, black tank top, black headphones,
black
and
backpack,
you're jacked.
Black backpack, black shoes, everything. And so I'm walking, I'm talking to the guy, And I was looking down because I was like, want to make sure I'm not running over anything, whatever. And as I turn around, I'm look down and I see somebody's shoes, and I start to come up and I see sheriff, and I start to come up and I see a sheriff standing right there. And I'm like, and the guy's name was Eric. I'm like, hey, Eric, can you give me a second? And he's like, sure. So I put him on hold. I'm like, hey, man. He's like, who are you and what are you doing? And I was like, oh, like I was visiting my buddy, but like, actually I'm just on like a business call right now. Like I was just getting some steps. And he's like, where are you from? Do you live here? What are you doing here? And I'm like, no, I don't live here. Like I just landed like an hour ago. Like I was literally just going out for a walk. And he's like, I need to see some identification. Like,
oh my God, I didn't know he said that.
Yeah.
Did you show him your ID?
Yeah, he ran like the test on it.
Are you serious?
100%. He's like, can you give me a background check on
Yeah,
Robert
you don't
Sarek?
have to do that. You didn't have to.
Whatever. I mean, what do I got to hide, right? Like, but I was like, yeah, bro, like here you go. And he was just like, yeah, like somebody called in, said you were lurking around, and
So
like
annoying.
and I'm like, I'm not doing anything bad, man, I promise. And he's like, well, you're not doing anything illegal, so I guess you can just keep walking. And I'm like, thanks, man. But yeah, so
You were taking pictures of the houses. That might have alerted some people.
I was gonna throw that in. These houses, I'm very much somebody who I love to get inspiration.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
like these houses are beautiful, like beautiful houses, and I'm like, this is so awesome. Like I'm gonna use this for inspiration later. Funny side story again. Last time I was in Dallas at Jordan's wonderful apartment, there was an orange Lamborghini outside of his apartment.
Not mine. It was someone else's.
It was Jordan's.
Yeah,
He
right.
still has it. No, but there was and that is like my car. I want that. It's been on my screensaver since I was like 11 years old. So I was taking pictures of that too, because I'm like, this is awesome. I love this. And somebody came up to me and they're like, you can't take pictures of this. Like, get out of here, kid. And I'm like, God damn it, man. But yeah, so I should probably stop doing that. But yeah, so that's why it's understandable.
Yeah.
And it's all good.
It's all good.
It's all
Didn't
good.
get arrested. You're
Didn't
fine.
get arrested.
You
We're
don't
good.
have to give them your ID, just so you know in the future.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't happen in the future, but if it does, now I know.
You were talking about goal weight, and I think it's an interesting and important one to bring up, because I think you and I both use goal weight as a term for people to understand, to find out where their calories could be. And people often ask questions like, well, what does that mean, goal weight? Like, what should my goal weight be? This is something I struggle with, because I've tried to come up with a term. I'll say this. The reason we use the term goal weight is because it essentially just tells you what your lean body mass might be. And if you say the term lean body mass for the average individual, they immediately tune out. They're like, I don't know what that means. I'm not listening. If you say estimate your lean body mass, they have no idea what they're talking about. But if you say, what do you think your goal weight is? That's a pretty good estimate of what your lean body mass is, which will give you a good idea of where your calories could be. I've tried to think of a term. I've yet to do it. What would be a better term for goal weight? I've also used target weight, but it essentially means the same thing. It's the same thing. Now, when people ask, like, how do I know what my goal weight is? I think you gave a really good answer. One of the things that I think is very important for people to understand about their goal weight is it's never going to be a singular definitive weight. Like, let's say someone wants to get to 150. You're never going to weigh 150.0 every single day, ever. Like, you could be in a deficit and gain weight one day for any number of reasons. You could be in a surplus and lose weight for any number of reasons. I think it's important for people to have a range. And I think that's what you do as well. That's what I do. It's like, I have like about a 10-pound range, where anywhere within that range, I'm good. If I start to get too high, I've got to go into a little bit of a deficit. If I'm even getting too low and I'm noticing energy is down, hunger is too high, I'm being a little bit too restrictive, I increase my calories. But that range, I think, is an important place for people to understand that no weight is your final weight ever.
Yeah, and that's like, kind of like why I started to do my cut, because I was like, I had just gotten back from 3 weeks in Florida, because we did like an in-person like retreat. So I just got back from like, there's this gelato place. I'll give them a plug. Anita's Gelato in North Beach, Miami.
Anita's. Okay.
Bro,
Let's go.
The best, bro. so I took 100 of our clients there and all of our team, and we got the whole place is just us in orange shirts. I have a picture of it on my phone. I'll show you afterwards. But it's like everybody's just there. I have this video. The guy's like, he's behind me, and he was like, so what's with the orange shirts? And I'm like, don't worry about it, pal. But
Don't worry about it, pal.
you're good. But yeah, so I got back from that and I was like, oh, I got a little bit too fat. And I'm like, all right, let's go into a cut for a little bit, right? So yeah, I think it's there's a range. I think the term that came to mind for me was like either happy weight or comfortable weight. Like one of those two things for me when I think about what would it mean to me? Because like right now I'm like roughly 235. I'm happy here. I'm comfortable here. Could I be leaner? Sure. If I went higher than this, if I went higher than 240, 245, no, I probably wouldn't be like that comfortable or that happy. I'd probably want to pull back like I did. So, maybe that might or might not help somebody there. But yeah, the range is crucial because even like going back to a lifestyle thing, which I had a client one time who really struggled with seeing the scale, like really struggled seeing the scale go up. And so once we finally, we lost the weight, we got her into maintenance and she was like, I'm terrified to go out to eat on the weekends. Like, I know I'm going to gain weight. And I'm like, Grace, totally fine. Let's do this for 2 weeks. You'll eat at maintenance, whatever, maybe a slight deficit throughout the week. Go on the weekends with your husband, enjoy a meal or two out. Your scale's going to spike up, but by Tuesday or Wednesday, it's going to go back down. And then Saturday, Sunday, it'll spike up. Monday, it'll spike up. Tuesday, Wednesday, it'll come down. And for her, I think a lot of times people are like, I don't want to yo-yo. I want to stay the same weight. But it's like fluctuating between 3 to 5 pounds is not yo-yoing.
Correct.
That's normal.
That's normal.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. And so she was like, oh, I can do this, but over the long run, maintain my weight. And I'm like, bingo. It was really cool.
Let's workshop this. I've never done this. Let's workshop this right now. So you said happy weight or comfortable weight. I have concerns with that, as I'm sure you probably do too.
Yes.
Happiness. I think, and this is a more of a philosophical discussion, I don't think chasing happiness is the right way to go about life in general. No. Chasing more fulfillment is probably a more productive way to go. And I don't mean productive in terms of you get more done. I mean just like living a life that people are more proud of and all of that. Especially with the extreme ends that we see in the body positivity movement, which started off with good intent, but I think has swung too far, whether it's body positivity or the health at every size. I think happy weight could be misused. Comfortable weight, I do like. What about like healthy weight? Now, which is obviously very subjective, but I feel like healthy weight might be pushing towards a better direction. What do you think?
I think a couple of things. I agree. I want to hit on something really quickly. I'm going to get shit for this. Whatever. I don't care. You're 300 pounds. You're not happy. I don't care if you tell yourself you are. I don't care. You're not. I know you're not because I've coached enough people. So you could maybe, you know what I mean? Like you could maybe try to convince yourself, but like I can't tell you how many people I've coached, and maybe you could speak on this too, but like they've come to me after being in the body positivity movement, and they're they try to convince me, I try to convince myself. I feel like shit. I have no confidence. I have low energy. I can't throw my beautiful daughters up in the air and run around with them. Like I'm not happy. I need to change. So I think that's a whole different topic for a different day.
I've had people say the same thing. I've had people come to me like, I fell into the trap of the body positivity, health at every size. And not to say that they're inherently bad, but the extremes of it get very bad and very dangerous. And I had numerous people, I have the DMs saved, in which they said, I ended up gaining 40, 60, 80 pounds because I got so deep into that world, and I'm way worse off, way less healthy. I have type 2 diabetes. It's become something that has been astronomically horrible for their not just physical health, but mental and emotional health. I think you bring up an important point, and if you get hate for it, I think it's probably more someone acting emotionally rather than logically.
And again, like, what do we do for a living? We help people.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of people.
So like, I want to help you, bro. But like, again, going back to the tough love, right? So that's number one. Number two, I think I probably like healthy weight better. I think where my head goes with that is like, what are people deeming healthy?
Correct. Yep.
Are you deeming healthy abs? Because I can just tell you, I was 225 and I felt like shit. I was ripped. I was shredded. You could see my abs way more. And if I posted a picture, people are like, oh man, like he's like, looks great. He's like probably super healthy. No, I wasn't. And so I think like being mindful of like, we would have to define like, what does health actually mean? You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of the fitness influencers and the space that we're in, it is so aesthetics driven that it's like, you would need to define what health means for you.
Yep.
Side note, you got to follow the data of like, what is your blood work? You know what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
what does your blood work say? Like, diabetes, cholesterol, blood pressure, all these things, right? So it's tough, man. But that's why.
Yeah. We'd probably have to separate it into like, you have the 3 branches. You have physically healthy, mentally healthy, emotionally healthy, right? So, I mean, you could have the physical health, but also like if you're feeling overly restricted, that mental side of it, okay, maybe that's not your right weight, right? If we need to figure out where can we have the most balance with these 3. And I think complete balance is impossible in everything in life. You can't be fully balanced. But between physical, mental, and emotional, what weight range do you find best for you? Is your blood pressure too high? Okay, well then we got to fix this. That's not good. Okay, blood pressure is good, blood work is good, all that's great. Well, how about mental? It's like you're overly hungry. Like you're not able to sustain this, afraid to go out to eat. Nope. Okay, this isn't the right weight range for you. So I think what we're figuring out is goal weight, healthy weight, target weight, comfortable weight. We're trying to come up with a 2-word term for something that encapsulates far more than 2 words, right?
That's our job, though.
That's our job
is to break it down, and I don't want to say dumb it down, but like to simplify it for people to digest and move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any mistakes that you made earlier in your own training and or nutrition for your own fitness that stand out now?
Definitely overtraining.
Definitely overtraining. Talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, well, because I was the kid who I would go 7 days a week, sometimes a lot of times twice a day. So like
you would go twice a day.
Yeah, dude.
Like for intense workouts twice a day.
Chest in the morning, back at night, quads in the morning, hamstrings at night, abs in the morning, hour of cardio
Real
at night.
bodybuilding split.
Oh yeah.
Real body. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Got it.
Oh
okay.
yeah. Oh yeah. And at this time too, like I remember I was at my friend's house one time and I was like 17 or 18 and I'm like, I just don't know why I can't gain weight. Because I was like working out 7 days a week, doing all this stuff, but I was like, all I was eating was chicken and rice all day. Because like bodybuilding, right?
Yep.
So I was like, and again, I go back to, I told you this yesterday, like I was probably eating 30 grams of fat a day max.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
it's just like chicken breast, brown rice, chicken breast, brown rice,
my
hot
gosh.
sauce. And it was just like, so both those two things, not fueling properly, overtraining, and of course overtraining. Like I wasn't overtraining, actually overtraining, because like you'd be in bed doing nothing, right?
Of course,
but like
yeah.
under recovering, I guess is a better term for
Yeah.
it. So yeah, those, but that's also because like I loved working out, dude. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So it was like, yeah, it wasn't optimal, but I didn't care because I was like, I was having a blast. You know what I mean? So to me, it wasn't optimal, but it was fun, and that's why I was doing it.
Have you ever gotten or received any feedback from a client that immediately changed your perspective on coaching?
That's a phenomenal question.
I thought of it last night.
That's phenomenal.
I was just lying on the couch. What do I want to ask Eric?
Yeah. For me,
I'm asking you that specifically because you're a great coach. And I think I feel like you might have a very good answer for this one, a thoughtful answer.
I think for me, it would be something, it would have to continue to be something around like, I have the answer. For context, I think you know me by now. I am usually a very high energetic person. I'm like usually try to be very positive, so on and so forth. And so I had a client one time tell me, like, I would do video check-ins with people, and she was like, Eric, this is the best part of my week. Every single week, to talk to you, to get the positivity, to hear your voice, to hear your enthusiasm, to see how excited you are. Like, and to me, being that for somebody, cool, she was losing weight and she was getting stronger and she was building muscle. But for me, that feedback, I was like, again, going back to like, I just think I take that for granted because I grew up with such great parents, right? And so I didn't really understand the magnitude of how much I can make a positive impact on somebody's life. And I tell this actually right before I boarded the plane yesterday, I had a meeting with my team and all of our coaches. And I was like, you guys, I don't know if any of us truly understand like every email interaction that we have, every video you send somebody, every time you write somebody a program and write in the little notes section, like, you know, push yourself really hard. Like, dude, it's like, every single interaction is just such a huge opportunity to like
Yes.
leave a positive impact and make it the best part of that person's day.
Yes.
And that was very early on in my career. When I realized that, I'm like, oh, again, going back to like, I think one of the gifts God has blessed me with, which is just like to have this perspective and to have this fire, energy, whatever you want to call it, like give that to other people. Like put it in their soul, because I want everybody to feel that. So that's probably the biggest thing for me.
I love that. I completely agree with that. You and I are completely on the same page. I remember with one-on-one coaching, I used to give all of my clients nicknames. And so like on their programs that I would just send them via email in a Word document, they'd have their first name, nickname, last name. And it was usually something that I pulled out of their client intake form. Something they were like, maybe they hated broccoli, whatever, something stupid. I'd be like, so-and-so, I hate broccoli, last name. And they would love it. It's just a little thing that does make a big difference. Then in their notes, maybe they said, I hate doing, I can't do forward lunges because of my knee. So, or whatever it is, my knee hurts. So then like in their notes section, I'd be like, hey, I know your knee hurts, but like, so this exercise is going to be better for you instead. It's the things that make them feel like they're not a number that allow them to know that they're being taken care of. I completely agree.
Two things. Did you notice, I love you said nicknames because I do other people too. Do you notice when they send you emails, they'll use like their nickname? Yeah.
Yes.
I love that. I love when people do that.
And then if you meet them in person, I've had I've had online clients who I'll meet for the first time in person, and I appreciate it. Oftentimes they won't know if I'll recognize them. So like, it's me, I hate broccoli type thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know who you are.
Yeah.
I see you every week.
Dude, so that's the second point I was going to bring up. And so like one of the things, you made a great point. I think you and we're similar on a lot of things, but like when I was training people in person, like the feedback I got all the time, and I'm not saying this is because I'm great. This is just literally how my brain works. Like I don't like, they would always be like, oh yeah, like I know you had like 2 months ago, you had the groin injury. Like, cool, we're going to swap for this, and this. And or like somebody would walk in like, Cheryl, what's going on? How are you? And then like, I would say hi to their husband and their 2 kids. And they're like, you talk to hundreds of people every single day. And of course the way like an in-person thing works, like new people are signing up every month and and they're like, how do you remember? Like, this is incredible. Like this is so amazing. You do this. And I'm like, well, I can't take credit. It's just how my brain works. But like people love that. Yeah. Like people love that, to know they're not a number, and to know you actually, my heart tells my brain to say you give a fuck. Yeah. Like I actually give a fuck about you.
I actually care.
Yeah.
I remember in one instance in particular, but it happened many, many times, where I had a client who one of her children was in a play. And so I just asked after the weekend, I was like, how was the show? And she was so appreciative. There's like, I can't believe you asked, because it's not related to her fitness, but it also sort of is. It's not necessarily directly related. Like, it's not a workout, it's not nutrition. But I know many coaches are like, we're only keeping it to fitness. It's like, but if you only keep it to just workouts and nutrition, you can't even begin to honestly say you understand your client. You can't actually genuinely say you understand your client if the only data and information you're getting is fitness related, because their entire lifestyle plays a factor into it. So you can't in one breath say it's a lifestyle thing, and the next breath say, I don't need this extra information. They all go hand in hand. And for them to know that they care about you outside of just simply getting a progress picture that they can use for their sales page is everything.
I couldn't agree more. You don't understand them. You don't understand their pain points.
Yep.
You don't understand their motivations.
Yep.
You don't understand how to write their program if you know every single weekend they're traveling for soccer for 3 hours back and forth. Like, these things matter.
Yeah.
And that's, again, being a good coach, like actually taking. I remember you put one of these things in your mentorship videos one time. You were like, one of the courses was like, fucking personal trainers think, you don't have to motivate your client. You absolutely have to motivate your client. And I'm like, I agree. Like, that's why you're there, because if you understand those things, you can flip those switches. You can dial those knobs as you need to. But if you don't understand, you don't have a shot.
100%.
Yeah.
What misconceptions do people have about you?
I'm small.
It's crazy, because you're way bigger in person. Every time I see you in person, I'm like, motherfucker, dude. Like, it's wild.
Misconceptions. I guess I told you this yesterday. Like, there's just some things I just don't even like. We were talking about DMs back and forth with people, or whatever. Some things I'm just like, I don't know, man, because I spend no time thinking about that. Maybe the biggest misconception is I think sometimes I get a little bit riled up. I get a little bit intense. I maybe say things like we were talking about, even like the body positivity thing. I think sometimes when I go down those rants, sometimes people might think I'm not empathetic, or people might think that I'm a hard ass, or like I'm, because I don't show a lot of my personal life on social media sometimes, they think I'm just like maybe this robot who like lifts, eats, trains, works out, works, and that's it. And it's like, I do a lot of that, but then it's like, that's like, I'm not a robot. Like there are some other aspects to my life and so on and so forth. So that probably, if I had to guess, it's probably the biggest thing.
And why don't you share more of your personal life?
I've just never been that kind of person. Like, as I was kind of alluding to last night, like even in high school, I'll tell you why. I've always had big dreams. Whenever I would tell people, they'd be like, "What the fuck are you talking about? You're not going to do that. Why even like what?"
People would actually say that to you?
Yes.
That's crazy.
And so I got like, I would say, I want to buy a Lamborghini. I want to do these things. I want to build a business. I want to move out. I want to train people. I want to do these things. And they're like, you won't make any money. You're never going to buy a Lamborghini.
That's
like,
crazy.
Bro, yeah. And it wasn't like again, my family is great and they would always support me, but it was like, why would I tell people things if they're just going to like shit on me? Like, I don't need to tell you anything. I'll just go do it. And then it's like, I can enjoy my life after. So that's why. And I just never like, even social media, I struggle, even me doing this podcast, I struggle deeply talking about myself because I think a little bit is just my personality. A little bit is kind of how I grew up. Like there were some things in my childhood where like things would happen and I'd be like, I don't want to talk to anybody about this. Like I'm fine. Like I don't need it. I don't need you asking me about it. Like I'll figure it out and I'll be good. That, and then also just like, it's about you. It's not about me. Like the reason I'm here is to serve people. The reason I'm here is to help you with your struggles, your pain points. I want you to overcome these things. I want to help you break your self-limiting beliefs. I'm good. I don't need anything from anybody. Like I'm good. I'll always be good. I'll always figure it out. I got it. Like I just want to help you. Like I really believe that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
It's why I was raised the way I was. It's for why I grew up the way I grew up. And it's like, I'm just a firm believer everything happens for a reason. So I don't know. I've never been somebody who shares a lot or talks about myself. And I know from a business perspective, it probably holds me back a tad bit because people are like, well, what else about you, man? Like you give us all this fitness stuff, but like, I want to learn more because humans like to connect with people and all these things. But like, I know the people around me know about it, but it's like, I don't know. I've just never been that person to outwardly share a lot of stuff.
And you don't have to. I think you do a very good job of sharing information that helps people and putting that. There's a concept in Judaism. Our job is to bring God's light to this world, and I think you do that better than anybody. You're very, very good at it, and regardless of sharing personal information or not, you do that every day. You bring God's light to this world every day.
Thank you, bro.
What scares you? In the we're not going to talk personally. Now, what scares you, Eric?
No. I will say, well, I was going to give a cliche answer of God, but like, in the sense of like, that's the only, like, if I'm not doing the right things on a daily basis, my dad always told me, he was like, do right by people, work really hard, do the right thing, and everything else will be like, everything else is going to work out, bro. And so for me, it's like, the thing that scares me would be like not doing that, not knowing that I'm doing the right things, not knowing that I'm working hard, not knowing I'm doing right by people. That would be number one. I would be lying if what scares me is losing everything because it's like, I've said this before, but like waking up every day and being like, all this could be gone. And really it probably won't, but like, to me, I'm like, that scares me, but I think it's kind of healthy because it makes me work really hard. So it's like, there's a balance there. But that scares me a bit. I would say those two things would be my biggest fears. And maybe looped into that would be just like financial money. Again, it's just such a big thing for me because I've always wanted to just be financially independent. And I think everybody shits on making money. Well, I don't know everybody, but people shit on making money and like having a lot of money and doing these great things. But I'm like, no, like I want to do that because it's like that to me gives me comfort, security, knows I can take care of the people that I love. I can do really good things. I can, give my coaches an amazing life. And so it's like, for me, I'm scared to not be in a good spot because because I had such a good childhood and because I had such great parents, because that was the only thing that was really kind of like there all the time. I just never want to go back to like feeling that heaviness, that burden of that. So those three things.
I love that. Money's an interesting one. Many people say that money makes you, if you have a lot of money, it'll make you a bad person. It'll change you. Money doesn't change you. Money just amplifies who you already are. And so if you go from not having money to having money, and all of a sudden having that money makes you an asshole to people, you've always been an asshole. You just might not have had the means to show that. On the other hand, if you didn't have money, now you work really hard, you build up money, and you are a good individual, and you and that's a deeply philosophical discussion, but you have good intent and you try and do good things. It gives you an opportunity to give to charity. You employ many people to put roofs over their head, food on the table, to also help your clients. You can giving to charity. There's so many wonderful things you can do if you earn money and you do it in a just and moral way. I think money doesn't change you; it just shows who you actually are from the very beginning. So,
agreed.
I love that. What excites you?
Building things and making it a game. Like, I think it's one of the reasons. Like, I just like reaching new levels. Like we talked about this earlier, but like we talked about goal weight. When you get there, you'll be happy. Like, I swear to you, when I was like, oh, when I get 6 figures in my bank account, like I made it, like I'm good. And it was like, I got there and I was like, okay, well, like what's next?
Yep.
Right. And so that can be a detractor at times, but it also really excites me because there's just so much left to learn, so much left to build, so much left to work towards. Like I like working towards things. I like having something to struggle with, to build and just to create. And so for me, it's challenging myself and trying to reach the fullest potential. Like that every day, I'm like, that's really what does drive me.
Eric Roberts, it's been a blessing to have you on the podcast, brother.
This has been amazing, bro.
Where can people follow you?
Yeah, so just at Eric Roberts Fitness, ERIC Roberts Fitness, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, podcast, Eric Roberts Fitness podcast. I got to revamp the podcast now that I see all this amazing place. Yeah, and yeah, that's it.
Thank you, everyone, for listening or for watching on YouTube. If you haven't yet, please leave a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify. If you're on YouTube, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you don't already. Make sure you give Eric a follow. And thank you to everyone who has left a review already. It means the world to me. I read all of them. I wish I could reply. They don't have that on Apple. But on YouTube, I'll be replying to these. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful week. Talk to you soon.